Well, thank you. Is it Mr. Chairman? Is that how I'm really new at this. Plus, I didn't realize I was the kids' table over there. Oh, the kids' table would be something separate. But no, Mr. Dodaro, thanks for coming here today. I come at this as a new member, but also somebody who's operated for the last 31 years a manufacturing business. I would call it a small to medium-sized business. And my experience in that business is anytime I would compete against a larger company, it was extremely easy to compete with a large company because of the bureaucracy. A smaller company, far more lean, far more efficient, far more effective. And I guess that's kind of how I come at government as well. So I just kind of like your comments as you're kind of going through some of the solutions. My concern would be additional layers of management. I've already had the opportunity to talk to some other folks in agencies, and what they're describing is what I see in larger corporations too. High levels of bureaucracy, so many different layers of management that they simply are unable to function. So I'd just kind of like to get your comments on, we're facing a $1.65 trillion a year budget this year. We're going to have cuts. Frequently in business, the way you get more efficient, more effective is by coming in and cutting budgets. So I just want to get your comments on leaning down, downsizing agencies, and having that be part of the solution in terms of getting people effective and efficient.
I think, my views on management issues, number one, accountability is not always fixed. And I think in individuals, and I think this legislation, the modernization legislation, and some other initiatives recently by the administration on improper payments is you have fixed accountability with the political leadership of our government and the way it's set up. Now, there are opportunities to streamline the management functions and the bureaucracies in the agencies, but my concern has been, as I've seen this and been a student of government over several decades, is turnover among the political leadership in the administration is a main limitation on sustained efforts of the federal government to make improvements. The average tenure of political appointees in the executive branch is still about 2 years. So there's constant turnover. There needs to be sustained attention over a period of time to be able to do this. So I think the quarterly reviews in the Modernization Act are an important tool to move forward on this area. There's always opportunities to streamline organizational structures, but it's got to start with a clear purpose of what the federal government wants to achieve. And in a lot of these areas, it's not really that clear, where you have dozens of programs trying to do similar things across multiple agencies. So there needs to be leadership, there needs to be accountability, and I bet in your manufacturing operation you had much better cost data and performance data to make informed decisions than what is currently available in the federal government right now. That needs to be fixed as well. You can streamline all the management you want, but if you don't have good information, whoever's left is not going to be able to make good decisions.
Well, that really leads to 2 points. To what extent are government agencies audited? I mean, what percent of agencies actually go through an annual audit?
Yeah, right now, all federal departments and agencies are required to have annual financial audits. But I'd make a couple points here. Number one, the first requirements for federal agencies to prepare financial statements and have financial audits started in 1996. So we operated our government for many, many years without the discipline of a financial audit, and that's improved over time. Of the 24 largest departments and agencies, 20 were able to get a clean audit, unqualified audit opinion this year, but with some notable big exceptions. One, the Department of Defense, and second, the Department of Homeland Security. So my main point is the federal government was the last sector of our economy to require audited financial statements, with the publicly traded companies coming during the Depression. Even the federal government required state and local governments to have financial audits in order to receive federal assistance in the 70s, but it's a relatively new development at the federal level, and it's something where greater progress needs to be made. For 14 straight years, we've not been able to give an opinion on the consolidated financial statements of the federal government due to limitations at DOD and problems at Treasury in reconciling transactions among the federal government. The financial management needs to be a top priority of this Congress and this administration to continue to make progress.
Let me just ask one more question. How pervasive and how effective are mission statements within these agencies? You know, really define what the mission of a particular agency or a sub-agency is within those.
Well, we haven't systematically looked at that. We have evaluated strategic plans, and I'll go back. I'll provide something for the record there rather than overgeneralize it at this particular point. But what I, excuse me, what I would say in our recent report on overlap and duplication and fragmentation, it's not always clear for the individual programs what they're supposed to achieve. And I think this is an issue that both the administration and the Congress need to focus on when programs are created and reauthorized. It's not always as clear as it needs to be.